Spencer Fano and Caleb Lomu are really good at college football. I'm not breaking any news there, but just how good they are, in some ways it might surprise you. Not only do most way too early NFL mock drafts have those two guys going as first-round picks next year, Spencer Fano in particular being, like a lot of people, he's buzzing around in the top 10 there. But Spencer Fano was voted by Pro Football Focus as their fifth best college football player, the best offensive line in the country. In fact, if you look at Trevor Siekma's, or I'm sorry, I've just pronounced his last name badly, but he's a PFF guy. If you look at his top 10 offensive tackles for next year's draft, Spencer Fano's one, Miami player, Caden Proctor from Bama, Caleb Lomu 4. So you're telling me 2 of the top 5 offensive linemen in the country for the 26 NFL draft are Utah Utes. That's fantastic. And yes, that's been reported for a little bit, obviously, that how high people are on this, but I don't know if we've taken a full second to appreciate like how big and how good this is for Utah. I did shows last week on how special I think Devin Dampier is going to be. And genuinely, I think the rest of this team has a chance to be really special, not just because of Devin Dampier and this offense chance to be really good, but because of the time he's going to be given. Devin Dampier was only sacked 5 times last season, an entire college football season. And that was going against some P4 teams too. So now he's going to get the chance to be behind an even better offensive line, year 2 with his offensive coordinator, and a nice running back too in Wayshawn Parker, if I do say so myself. And yeah, I mentioned it before. I have some questions about the interior. I think Mokafisi and Tongai are solid, and I want to see more from Kump. I've said that repeatedly, but I still think this is going to be a good offensive line. I just don't know if it's going to be like top 5, top 10. I think it can be top 10. I just, like I said, you got to be so good. But I don't, right now, as we sit here, Utah is the best tackle duo in the country. Have we ever been able to say that? That's like mind-boggling. That's how good Spencer Fano and Caleb Lomu are. You might be listening to this podcast too, and you're like, okay, what makes Spencer Fano and Caleb Lomu so good? Well, one thing I would say is also, like, if you want to know what makes Spencer Fano good, you can check out my interview with him last week. I had him on Locked On Utes. He talked about his game, and he's a great guy too. Like, really, just someone really easy to root for. And it's easy to root for him too because he's really dang good at the game too. So, an amazing person and an amazing player. Go hand in hand together too. And has a fun singing voice. He sang for us a little bit too, as he's been doing here frequently. But what makes those guys so good? Number one, footwork, technique, phenomenal. Like those guys, when you just turn on the tape and you're like, how should an offensive lineman move? It's Spencer Fano and Caleb Lomu. It's the short, choppy steps. It's the good get off. It's good pad level. It's good pass set, a good anchor so you're not getting overpowered. It's just a good job mirroring defenders, cutting them off. Good hand placement constantly, good tenacity, leg drive. Spencer Fano last week on my show spoke about the best feeling in the world is when you have a defensive lineman wrapped up and you're just driving him against his will 10, 15 yards down the field. Hard to disagree with him too when he's the way he was talking about that. But those two are so good and athletic as well. So one thing that you can do when you have really athletic tackles is everyone pulls guards, but if you can pull tackles, that allows a new element and dynamic to your game and allows you to open up more space, especially if you want to get like a certain screen going on the outside and you want to get like your offensive lineman out there, even though it's just a spot guard tackle, it is still just an easier path to get your tackle out there. Sometimes it's hard because you have a defensive end in front of them, but there are ways you can get around that. So if you have an athletic tackle who can truly get out there and make that block, that opens up things because they can get out there and make that block. And then you have an offensive lineman on a cornerback to try and jumpstart and spring your screen pass. So that's something you can do with both Fano, Lomu. They can pull a goal over the place. I mean, Fano's so athletic. He caught a touchdown last year. Like, that's the kind of special athlete we're talking about there. So these guys are so good too. And the other thing that's nice, and I think the thing that Devin Dampier is going to very much enjoy playing with this Utah offense is that he is going to have so much time available to him in the pocket. And he's also a master of buying time. That's maybe it'll be even a slight adjustment to him is how much it's going to have to be. Hey, Devin, stay in the pocket. Like, don't run. Like, don't try to do anything crazy. Nothing like stay in the pocket because he does very well off script. And he's not going to have to go scramble around just running for his life back there like crazy because his pocket is in very safe hands with those two offensive linemen. They can hold up in pass protection forever. I was watching some film of each of those guys earlier today, and man, like it's just their one-on-one assignment, pass protection, run game. They're blowing them off the ball. They're widening rushing lanes and holes too. Like the run could be to the left, and Spencer Fano washes the defensive end or blasts the defensive tackle so far off the ball that he creates another hole of his own. Same thing for Caleb Lomu too, right? And Lomu's so important too because he's the backside protector for Devin Dampier. So then you get your quarterback too. You don't want the worst thing that can happen, right? Is the quarterback goes back to pass and that defensive lineman comes around and knocks that ball loose because blind spot, QB couldn't see him. That's not an issue as much with Lomu and Fano and not blind spot, but either way, like you just don't have to worry about those defensive linemen getting around the edges. It's going to be a very clean pocket for Devin Dampier, especially like if you want to really make sure it's extra clean. If the interior offensive line does have some of those slumps that I kind of spoke on, that I do think it's possible that they could get into, then isn't it pretty nice then that you can have Naquari Rogers, Wayshawn Parker, whatever is your pass protecting back. So then basically you have three guys to take away the A and B gap and A and B gap, and then your C gap, is completely fine. A gap between center guard, B gap between guard tackle, C gap is on the outside of the tackle. Like you don't have to worry about that edge pressure most of the time, which is very nice if you're Utah, that you have two amazing offensive linemen that are going to keep the pocket clean. And not only that, what else are they going to do? Well, not just keep the pocket clean, but then you have the QB who's going to be able to make the miraculous play and the miraculous throw. It's going to open up so much for Jason Beck having an offensive line this good too, because Devin Dampier was an incredible talent and last year in New Mexico, and the Lobos were able to run the ball very effectively. And I think Utah is going to have a ton of success running the ball this coming season. Teams are definitely going to pack the box against Utah, but Utah just has a couple of guys that need to win one-on-one, and Ryan Davis was able to do it at the G5 level a little bit a year ago. Larry Simmons is a guy who's already turning heads. Smith Snowden, an interview that'll drop tomorrow. It was supposed to drop today, but this Big 12 news dropped, so I wanted to talk about that. Larry Simmons is a guy a lot of people are high on as well, too, right? Tobias Merriweather could be Utah's wide receiver one. You get Otto Tia, acting as this new kind of tight end hybrid, but he's just got the wide receiver skill. It's going to be a mismatch for a lot of linebackers. So Utah's got more than enough guys to me that not have to, like, it doesn't have to be, Tobias Merriweather win one-on-one or we're doomed. Like, you have lots of guys that can win in that one-on-one coverage, and you're going to get a lot of one-on-one because teams are going to have to pack the box to try and stop this run game. The biggest reason that is these two offensive linemen. Also, just speaking of them, like, we got Fano a touchdown last year. Would love to give him one again. Let's give Caleb Lomu one too. I really think that it'd be sick if we give both those guys that. And the other thing that's so cool about having this talent in the trenches is so often you hear the discussions about whether it's the SEC or the Big Ten talk about, like, we got the higher recruits, we're bigger, we're stronger, all of that. Well, Utah has the best tackle duo, so are you really bigger and stronger than Utah? I don't think so, but they're going to try to claim that. A lot of those schools will, and I think it's pretty cool that Utah can shoot those arguments down pretty quickly.